Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. There are some people who simply cannot be pleased. Some people are very easily agitated and openly so, and you get the wrath that comes along with their agitated attitudes. Some people assume that you're supposed to cater to their own distinct idiosyncrasies, and then they do become very angry when you don't comply with them. Some people have very illogical double standards, and by that I mean as an illustration. I can talk to you all day long about whatever's wrong with you, but you're not allowed to do the same in reverse toward me. Some people live for your admiration and conformity as if that's their birthright, even though they don't give a whole lot of that in reverse toward you. Some people pounce upon your mistakes or your weaknesses or your miscalculations in an effort to reinforce their own false bravado. Some people seem to have habitually impatient and annoyed attitudes toward you. Some people just don't like you. Or worse, they allow you to think that they do, but it's merely for exploitive purposes. Now, each of the possibilities that I'm talking about here can be certainly a part of what you have experienced when you're dealing with a strongly narcissistic individual. Narcissists, by definition, are very self-absorbed. They're entitled. They have a real strong need to be in control over you, which means that they see themselves as truly superior over you. They're very willing to use and exploit and manipulate you. They operate with what we call the false self. They put out a false front about who they want people to think they are, when in fact behind the scenes they have a whole lot of chaos, but you're not going to know anything about that if they have anything to do with it. And so there's one overarching message that we can say that with everything I've just mentioned is even worse than all of that. And narcissists can come at you with that one message that says, you're not enough. There's something defective about you. I declare you to be damaged goods. As far as I'm concerned, you have no inherent or redeeming worth or value. I know that many of you have been on the receiving end of that kind of message, and we have a word for that, and that's simply the word shame. When we talk about having frustrations and strains and criticisms and differences and all, that's one thing. But narcissists will take those kinds of ingredients and they'll sprinkle a whole lot of shame all over it. And when we talk about shame, it's more than just talking about the things about you that might be less than desirable, at least to them. Shaming messages are intended to destroy your interior. A shaming message is one that says your character is not right. Your character is not good. You're rotten to the core. That's what they think. And again, narcissists in their shaming messages toward you can convey, you're not enough. Now, when we take it a bit further and look at it from the vantage point of you, the recipient of that kind of shame message, it's no wonder that you can actually struggle, particularly if you've heard these messages for years and even decades, and certainly in the formative times in your life. It causes struggles on the inside of you to find hope or joy or peace or contentment. And you can have so much strain and confusion. You want to shake your fist in defiance at that person, but then at the same time, it's like, dare I do so, because I don't know that I have the credibility to get away with that. And you can have all sorts of internal strain and emotion. And to get an idea of how this shame manner of communication toward you can become a psychological acid on the inside of your soul, talk to the adult who received all sorts of messages of ridicule and anger and over-the-top punishment in their developmental years inside the family unit. Or talk to the one who has been on the receiving end of emotional neglect or perhaps being shunned, as if the interest in that developing child is of no concern to theirs. Talk to that person and let them describe to you what the shame is when that occurs. Or talk to the parent or the grandparent who's been alienated from a child for no plausible reason except that narcissistic, shaming other parent wants to teach the child to hate the same people they hate. It's a killer when that happens. Or talk with the ostracized adult who has a history, perhaps, of major mistakes, whether it's addictions or sexual misconduct or career confusion. But then at this point in their life, they're genuinely trying to make an effort to get back onto the right path, and the narcissist lets it be known, no, that right path will never belong to you. You're not enough. You don't measure up. Or talk to the pensive person who embraces political or religious or social ideals that dare to differ. And you'll hear about some of that shame that's going to be piled upon them because of that. Talk to the marital partner or the family member or the friend who dared to confront hateful and exclusionary attitudes, and you'll likely hear stories about how they've been shamed for those kinds of issues. You are not enough. That's what the narcissists, in their shame-based way of thinking, that's what they want you to think. And taking it further, they'll let you know, I'll make it my mission to remind you that you're tangling with the wrong person. No one is going to believe you over me. You are a loser who doesn't deserve a place at my table. Any accommodation, any accomplishment of yours is overshadowed by the fact that you do indeed have that rot on the inside of you. That's how narcissists think. And they can convey that kind of message to you over and over. And the net result is you indeed will hold on to hurt and anger. And sometimes when things go right in your life, you can actually have what we refer to as the imposter syndrome. I don't know if I really deserve to have good things coming to me, because that message continues to echo inside your mind. Some people become rebellious. Some people just have constant confusion. Some individuals respond to these shame messages with a feeling of powerlessness, or they're constantly trying to figure out how to make the grade. Am I okay today? If I do this, am I going to be deemed right or wrong, good or bad? I think it's time for you, if you've been on the receiving end of multiple persistent shame messages, to rethink what's been said to you and what's been portrayed toward you from that narcissistic individual. Now, let's begin with one very, very strong acknowledgement. And that is, the narcissist who chooses to shame you inevitably, and I mean inevitably, has their own unresolved shame. I hope you hear that. These individuals are projectors. They will see in you what they cannot come to terms with on the inside of themselves. And instead of them dealing with their own shame, they decided to become drunk on the notion that they can control the narrative, which is why they can be so forceful and pushy in insisting that you don't measure up. But it's all a part of their internal chaos that they're not willing to come to terms with. You need to understand those messages are much more of a commentary about who the shame giver is, as opposed to who you, the recipient, would be. Let's also remember, as you rethink their shame messages, that no one person can claim to be ideal. And certainly the narcissist cannot. We're all flawed. We all have our foibles, and we're not fairy tale characters. Every one of us is a mixed bag of pluses and minuses. Let's acknowledge that. Let's even embrace it, and let's engage with one another in such a way that says we'll assist each other along the way. Narcissists can't do that, but I'm hoping you can think that way. Let's also remember that the measure of a person's character does not rely upon the absence of flaws, but it's built upon your own sense of resilience and your commitment to personal growth. It's wonderful when you decide, I'm going to move beyond some of the negatives that might have been there in my life. The narcissist won't give you credit. You can give yourself credit for that. Your worth, your value, your dignity is not subject to a vote. It is, in fact, your inherent right. And any narcissist dictatorial pronouncement to the contrary is wrong. You deserve to be honored and to be considered as anyone's equal. I hope you hear that. You're capable of turning wrongs into right. Stay on that path and stay persistent in that effort. Your life experiences, all of them, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pleasant, can be understood as the seasoning or with respect to what makes you who you are, or it can be part of the winnowing process as you're continuing to find out what a good life is all about. Even or especially when you have failures, we can say that can become part of you developing wisdom. I hope that you don't have such shame about any kind of negatives that have been in your life that you fail to remember. This is how you learn. This is how you grow. Peace can indeed be found even after you've been rejected, especially by that strongly narcissistic person. Peace, your peace, is anchored in your commitment toward one thing in particular, and that is your integrity. The narcissists in their shaming messages want you to think that your character is no good. Don't listen to that message. Your character is what defines you, and your character is built upon your ability to maneuver through life with all the positives and negatives that might be there. Simply put, the narcissist will say, you're not enough. But I'm here to say something very different, and that is, you are indeed enough. Love yourself, and then make love your guide as you engage with other individuals. That's something a narcissist cannot take away from you. It would be nice had they been able to breathe that message into you. They didn't. Claim it and make it your own message. You are indeed enough. Now, I hope videos such as this can give you some good food for thought, and I hope that as you understand what you're engaging with, it can prompt you to stay in that growth path. Know that I consider it an honor when you subscribe to my channel and stick with it. Stay with the videos on a cumulative basis, and I hope that we can help you along the path in your journey. So subscribe, hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already done so. I know that there are times when you are dealing with things like this that you could use somebody that can help you sift it out, a therapist. You know that I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. I've received wonderful feedback from individuals who have used that service. There's a link below. And if you have a need for therapy, I would strongly encourage you to seek that out. It's accessible, it's affordable, and it's something that's become quite popular since the pandemic. Please seek the help that you know that can assist you along the way. Likewise, I have my therapeutic courses, and I put a lot of work into these. It's like signing up for an online class. Each course has multiple videos, like 25 or more. And along with it, each video has guided written documents, guided questions. We have Ready, Set, Connect about how to make good connection skills. This is me about establishing boundaries, free to be, finding yourself despite the controllers. We also have my webinars that have been presented, as well as articles. We have my podcast. We have my books, plenty of resources for you. The main message that I want you to gain from today's video. Narcissists, in their shaming style of communication, will send you the message that says, you're not enough, but I'm hoping you can say, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Narcissist, you missed on that one. I am enough, and I'm going to lean into it. And as you do, I hope that it takes you well down the path towards the peace that you so richly desire and deserve.